One thing that we say at our church is giving God your time, your talent, and your treasure. And when I quit my job during COVID in 2020, I didn't have the income to be able to tithe. We were tithing off of my husband's income, but I had this gift of time, that I'll share more about as we move through the channel. And it was during COVID that I said to God, I was like, I don't have the treasure to give right now, but I have more time and I have a talent, to be able to do certain things. So I want to give you more time and use my talents in a greater way. So our church went into lockdown just like all of Dallas, and when the church opened back up, we had, kind of I would say a shifting of people who returned, maybe sifting, but shifting. And I had all this time. So prior to COVID, literally just like a couple weeks before shelter in place, my son wanted to serve in our children's ministry, and he was not of age to be able to do that. So, he could, however, if he had either one of us parents to serve with him. So my husband and I were serving together, but my husband was working, so he had less time set apart from Sundays to be able to contribute, but I had all this time in the world. So I got in touch with the children's pastors and said, hey, I've got a surplus of time right now. How can I help? And we just didn't have a lot of servant leaders. If you remember back to that time, a lot of people were still frightened. There were all of these variables going on that, were causing people maybe not to show back up in person, social distancing thing, the whole deal. But I, made myself available to God and got in touch with the pastors and just said, how can I assist? So we started serving every Wednesday and both services every Sunday. And it was challenging, I'm not going to lie. I mean, we had children who we were serving 3-year-olds all the way up to 5 and 6-year-olds. And it was an incredible time because I got to really see like very closely the children of all of these families that I had kind of seen in passing at my church, and get to know their kids and start praying for their kids. And then there were a ton of kids that came in that needed Jesus. Their parents needed a break. If you remember where you were during COVID, I think we were all just maxed out on over consuming the news and then the fear mongering and all the things that were going on. So, families, single moms, marriages, it was really like, let's spend more time pouring into those people, but we need someone to watch their kids and to pour into their kids while they're getting poured into. So there were a lot of children that had just really, been confined to screen time and been confined indoors and weren't getting to go out and socialize the way their parents weren't getting to socialize during COVID. So that was an opportunity for me and my son to grow closer during that time, to serve other people, to get outside of our immediate circumstances and take the focus off of us and look at what other people's needs are and serve them. So if you're not in a place where you're able to go over and above your tithing, you can give your time and your talent for the kingdom of God. And I will tell you, like, that might seem like that's not a big deal, but I went to be a blessing, and serving served me too. So I didn't realize how much I needed to be stretched. I didn't realize, honestly, how self-focused I was on what was going on in the 4 walls of our house. And there are other people beyond your scope that need what you have, that need your experience, that need your smile, that need your warmth, that need only the things that you can bring to that space to minister to their kids or to their youth, teens, what have you. And I was so stretched in that, but in such a good way. Because I didn't really that my story is a little bit complex, and we'll get into that as we move into the channel. But um, God started working in me, and I got to be a part of transformation for these little 3 and 5-year-olds. Like some of them were stunted in potty training because of everything. And some of them just had a lot of emotional issues that they had to work through. And being someone who's very sensitive to the needs of children, I was able to just be there, just show up and be there and be available to hold a child or hug a child or speak life over a child or pray with a child. So I'm just saying this to you, that you may think that, oh, I don't really have that much to contribute, but if you will show up and make yourself available and give God your time and get into your local church and just serve, God is going to do amazing things in and through you, and it will bless you beyond belief. I have friendships that I made in kids ministry that are just, when I felt like God was stripping so much out of my life, He gave me real people. He gave me real friends. And, they're few, but I would rather have one incredible you can count on an all-time friend than, 5 that are just there for whatever they're there for. So I just want to encourage you that you may not have an excess of money to actually contribute to the kingdom, but God needs your talent, and He needs your time too, to bring healing, to bring restoration, to bring transformation into people's lives. And there's, my pastor says that God's put a unique deposit in you, and only you have that gift. Only you have that ability to reach those people. So I just pray that you would seek God and you would ask Him to show you where He wants to use you. And if He shows you something that you're like, oh, that's not for me, or I don't know how to do that, that's the thing He wants you to do, because you're to be stretched and you're to grow too. So lean in to what God is showing you. Your life is going to change when you give God something to work with. So I love you. I hope this blesses you. I hope you'll take that step into something that feels maybe a little unknown. And don't be afraid to show up and just let God use you. He's got beautiful things in store for you in your future. And serving others is the gateway to your greatness. So I love you. Have a great day.